Yo, 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 yo. 212. So if you're tuning in from Facebook, you'll see what I just put out. I just thought I'd go and check in on John Venus to see what's going on with him. And I come across this video called Veganism, Agenda to Malnourish and Depopulate Humans. The music is AG Sterling on SoundCloud, STERLING, and that's AG_Sterling. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe, share, comment, all of those things. Link in the description. Let's get stuck in. Yes, I found this video and I thought, you know what? This should be some pretty good content. I saw the first 5 seconds of it and then I just decided to bloody just look at it. So we'll see what's up.
Hey everyone, John Venus here. Welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk about whether or not the vegan movement or veganism is a new world order agenda to sterilize, depopulate, and dehumanize us humans. So this is a topic that is very near and dear to me, as I've been a hardcore vegan for many years.
No, you were never a vegan, John Venus. It's like I'm talking straight to him. This is cool. No, you were never a vegan, because vegans are just like people who aren't racist anymore, or people who aren't racist. You don't just go back, you know. It's a ethical philosophy or standpoint where you seek to exclude your prejudices against other species, really, instead of just like humans seek to exclude their prejudices from other humans, and that's why it's referred to as racism. You were never vegan, mate.
Years in the past, and although I don't identify as a vegan any longer, I still eat a plant-based diet. For various reasons. I don't believe
if you identified as a vegan, then that means that meat eater that just walked down the street can identify as a vegan.
Eating meat is wrong, or that people are evil or less compassionate for eating animal products, or believing that meat is, you know, a central part of health and nutrition. That's all good by me. When it comes down to the vegan movement, just like the climate change movement, just like things like Black Lives Matter, just like different religions, there are always going to be entities and organizations, corporations, and powerful individuals trying to influence the narrative, the science, the statistics, the coverage.
How ironic! How ironic! That's the what we're fed prior to going vegan. all these corporations are trying to, get you to buy their product. Bacon, cheese, milk, eggs. And we got the egg industries falsifying scientific data to promote their product as well, How ironic.
And the public perception of what is going on. Without the participants' awareness of that influence that makes things go astray a lot of times. And so that's the main thing that I want to talk about firstly, is that just because a movement has a lot of negative agendas behind it or influences that are negative, it doesn't mean that the people involved are aware whatsoever. As we know, we are very unaware of corporate influence, how politics run, how the deep state operates, and all these things. We, as a general public, we're not aware, and even us who've been going deep into these.
G'day, Avery. How you going? Good. Have you heard of John Venus? Very slimy, very into the likes, into the ego, into the all that sort of stuff. I saw this video. I thought I'd just check in on John and see what's been going on with him, and I decided to just react. I wasn't doing anything, so I thought just going to react to his content and see what's up. So yeah, you don't want to hear from him. He's pretty much a nobody these days. He's got a few 100,000 subscribers on YouTube and stuff, but he's just cooked. But this is what the name of it's called. So veganism, agenda to malnourish and depopulate humans. What? So I'll keep going.
These conspiracy theories, a lot of it is just speculation because a lot of things.
So go back a few minutes.
The deep state, operates, and all these things. We, as a general public, we're not aware, and even us who've been going deep into these conspiracy theories, a lot of it is just speculation because a lot of things are just happening behind closed doors, even though much of it is very public and in your face. So when it comes down to the judgment towards people involved in different movements, such as Black Lives Matter or veganism or whatever, it's not that person necessarily reflects the same goals of a corporation or the CEO or the founder of the organization. So direct attacks on the person based on their involvement in something is not something that I find necessary or helpful, because most of us are just...
Well, luckily for us, your opinion is not an opinion that anyone can really take on board and say, hey, John Venus does that, therefore I should. No one should be doing that anyway. You should be doing things based on your own sort of moral and ethical codes, and if it's backed up by the truth as well. Luckily, you're not an authority in which to speak, John Venus.
Attaching to something that, feels like we're doing the right thing. Unfortunately, the ego, the biases, beliefs take over in a lot of individuals, and they start shouting, and there's a lot of conflict. There is, I'm right, you're wrong, you guys are evil for doing this, we are right. And, it's hard to respect that behavior. I understand. I had to do a lot of work myself to be able to do that. But at the end of the day, fighting in that way, fighting with human ideologies and other people's hard cemented beliefs is not gonna, have a beneficial outcome usually.
I think it does have a beneficial outcome sometimes, because I was hard and cemented in my ways of, not being a vegan, right? And then I received the ethical message, and then I was like, oh shit, how do I continue to live my lifestyle? And then because I believe I have a good kind heart, it just didn't sit well with me. So I was like, fuck, now I have to go vegan. I have to be a vegan, because it's not about depopulating humans. It's about just being kind and not harming anyone. Because if we were carnivores, if we were instinctually carnivores, we wouldn't have little animals running around our homes in our care because we'd see them and want to eat them. We wouldn't have, cows, pigs, and chickens. We wouldn't see them on the, out in the farms as we're driving along and look at them and be, ooh, yum. I mean, who knows? That could have been conditioned out of us through our upbringing because we outsourced that to slaughterhouses and to corporations. But then again, you put a like the old saying, you put a rabbit and an apple in a crib with a baby and see which one the baby wants to eat. That tells you right there,
And so what I prefer focusing on is just, instead of putting the focus on the individual or a group of individuals related to a movement, it's more of a criticism towards the psychology or the tactics or the philosophies of different organizations or industries that are backing different movements and organizations. So let's move on to veganism as an agenda to malnourish the population, right? Because this is something that I hear.
Let's hear this.
A lot. I have friends who were vegan for a very long time, who experienced health issues and who went back to eating animal products. They felt better. I had people who strayed away from a...
Well, their bodies felt better. I don't think their moral being felt better. If they felt better after paying someone to stab an animal in the throat, or if they did it themselves, then that says more about their moral being than it does about, than it does about their than it does about their diet. If you're looking at it like it's a diet, then there's a problem. It's not a diet, and like you said, it's a philosophical, standpoint.
Plant-based diet, went to eat meat, felt good initially, and then felt even worse after a while, and went back to a different version of plant-based and feel better than ever. So there's endless variations of this, and this is why I think, regardless of what you hear, regardless of what seems like the truth, I think personal experience, even though we are taught in the science community and
we are taught in the science community, like he's saying that he's someone who's in the science community. I'm not saying I am, but yeah, nah.
Think in a scientific way, which means don't trust yourself, don't trust anecdotes, because they're lowest form of evidence. We have to try to trust the meta-analyses, the World Health Organization's recommendations, and observational data studies and these things, and not rely on our personal experience. However, I feel like that is very dehumanizing. It's removing the human spirit completely from finding the truth and relying only on data that is very subjective and dependent on...
everything's... All of it is subjective, right? But it's, you remove... Let's just say... this is like... If we use science, right? I'm not a scientist. I don't know statistics or how things happen, but you remove, say, all of the Bibles in the world, you're going to have a hard time rewriting that book. You remove all the science from the world, you just got to do the same. You just got to keep doing experiments until you receive the same conclusion or come to the same conclusion. It's like science is just work that needs to be done in order to help benefit society. You know what I mean? It's like if you write a story and then, the paper that you wrote that story on gets burnt in a house fire, then you're just relying on memory. But if you were to say, work out how to make this glass, and all of the glass gets removed from the world, all you need to do is run the same experiments and you'll still be able to make the same glass.
Statistical control methods. And so
the best thing we've got is science, really.
I believe that we should all remember that we are extremely powerful and we are able to find our truths and find out what's best, what's working, what
Yeah. We are able to find our own truths. I agree. But what if their truth is that humans are food, or having sex with people without their consent is good? What about those truths? People who hold those truths and those values. So obviously we can make decisions based on our truths. Whether they're right or wrong is up to the individual. However, as a collective society, we'll pretty much say that, having sex with people without consent is wrong. Eating humans is wrong. Obviously, I believe eating animals is wrong. And, if society was not blind to what they were contributing to and what they were participating in, then they would agree as well.
what's not working for ourselves. And it's not like it's perfect. Like someone always uses the example of,
Well, someone can believe that cocaine is good for you because they feel so good
There it is.
after taking cocaine, and now their personal experiences show them that that cocaine is good for them.
if you're a balanced human being, if you have your priorities straight,
Yeah, but what's balance? Like, I can say those things as an extreme, and then you're saying, oh, but balance. Okay, but someone else's balance might be different to yours. My balance might be different to yours. So, like, my balance, my moral fiber could say, oh, yeah, maybe just stabbing someone for food, like maybe chopping someone's arm off is okay. So it's like, where's the line, mate? Where's the line?
you feel like you are not
Cutting someone's arm off.
in a place of desperation, you feel like you're a critical thinker, you're an intuitive person, I believe that you can find out what works for you. And so, not that we should dismiss science or anything like that, but let's not discount our personal experience. So if you find yourself feeling amazing on a plant-based diet, great. If you find yourself feeling amazing on a carnivorous diet,
Not great, because you can feel great on a plant-based diet regardless. Just got to put in the work.
amazing. You should be able to discern whether something is good for you or not, but also at the same time be aware of biases, be aware of beliefs, because a lot of times our experiences when
So, like, the thing is, though, a belief was forced upon us growing up, because obviously majority of the people who were fed animal products as children didn't choose to eat animal products. They were fed them by their parents. So it's a conditioning thing. Like, I probably had my first piece of bacon at 3, so Avery just dropped the question, Faux Phoenix Gaming. It's like saying something is normal. What's normal exactly? What's normal for me won't necessarily be normal for others. Exactly. Like, we all grew up eating animal products, and it took us years to realize and have the ethical message come into our minds and say, and then adjust our actions accordingly. It's just like, like you said, what's normal for me won't necessarily be normal for others. Like, people who are hunters, right, or people who work on farms or live on farms, we have them and their families raising their children to love the cows or the sheeps or the chickens, and they're really sad when they go to be slaughtered, when they go to be murdered, when they go to be killed, because they build emotional and strong connections with them. And then next time it happens, they become more detached until they mean nothing to them anymore. And that's how it works. And we have our sense of connection taken away from us. I guess the same thing happens with things like love, love and care and things like that. We become more selfish in our values because we are conditioned away from it. Yeah, wow, that's profound, actually. Yeah, something just really touched me about that. Yeah, on a different sort of topic.
When we're out of balance
Wow.
and we feel very emotional about certain topics, we feel betrayal, we feel anger, we feel this division. A lot of times we will feel feelings that are misleading. We will feel like once we finally try a piece of steak after being vegan for 20 years, that's amazing because you finally feel amazing in your body. But it could be, something other than the actual nutrients that you're absorbing. It could be a feeling of liberation to finally do as you will instead of just living in this bubble, in this prison, psychological.
I mean, I can understand where you're going with that and what you're saying about that, John. Like, I understand that. Like, I just put myself in that position. All right, if I hadn't eaten meat for 20 years and it just magically became ethical because I couldn't do it, I'm just thinking I'd take a bite of that steak and it would feel great because it's something I haven't had in such a long time. The taste just reminded me of, the last time I had it. I would never do it, no. But I think it's good to still put ourselves in those positions to feel how we'd feel. But even then, even if I got that level of pleasure and comfort and security, I'd say, from that, I still wouldn't do it. Because I still wouldn't support those industries. Because I've seen how those products get to that plate. And I can't be a part of that. Like, because my balance is that cows shouldn't be stabbed in the neck for food. That's my truth. Cows shouldn't be tortured. Cows shouldn't be raped. Cows shouldn't have their children taken away from them.
Prison where you're not allowed to touch this food or not allowed to eat this because doing that is evil. So there are many factors that can impact how we feel. So there are false signals for sure, always, and that's why it's always good to be as neutral as possible in your experience. In my opinion, that's what's helped me the most. When I went back to eating animal products and eating, over a pound of meat and animal products every single day, I tried to remove all of that, attachment beliefs and that kind of stuff. I allow myself just to experience. So is a vegan diet inherently...
Yeah, but like allowing yourself just to experience something doesn't make it right. Like, all right, so I remove the things that I know are bad. All right, so now I'm just in the moment. And I'm just going to just bring it in. Oh, cool. All right, so let's apply that to different contexts, right? Oh, okay. There's a fucking beautiful woman out there. I'm just going to remove all the issues that I see as being wrong, and I'm just going to go and have sex with her. That's pretty much the same par of what you're saying there. Removing the bad parts of it. And like, oh no, I didn't kill them. I didn't kill the animal myself. Yeah, man, but just you paid for it to happen, or you went out and shot the deer, or you went out and shot the elk or the venison or whoever. Now, if anyone was to take this out of context and say that that's something that I'd want to do, I'm just going to come out and say that you're really dumb, and obviously I don't think that is true, but I'm using his logic, twisting it into a different context or moving it into a different context and feeding it back to him. And that's how it is. Like, there's no difference. There's absolutely no difference, because immoral act is immoral.
Horrible for you? I would say no, not for everyone, right? There are many people that I know that did not do well. There are many people that I know that are suffering health consequences of their eating.
Anecdotes, yes. And, obviously he's going to rely on, if we were to discuss this, he would rely on the fact that his anecdotes are something that can be relied upon because it falls into your own truth. And if you made it this far, you can go, obviously you've heard up until this point, you can go back and listen to that, what I had to say about that.
Patterns that could potentially also be because of emotional and psychological trauma mixed in there. It's really hard to pinpoint these issues. However, there are also people that have gone plant-based and have been plant-based for 25, 30, 50 years that I know, and lifelong vegans who are just amazing, and you would never have guessed that they were brought up on a fully plant-based diet. And so it's something that we cannot find certainty in, right? It's not something that we can say it's healthy for everyone.
You can't find certainty in almost everything, right? This house is not 100% certain. I'm not 100% certain that this house is going to stay standing. It could fall down at any moment. There's like a 99.99999% chance it's going to stand up. Yeah, but nothing's 100% certain. But we can go with the best that we've got and argue for that.
Or it's unhealthy for everyone. The truth is always somewhere in the middle and not so easy to generalize. The main idea behind the agenda criticism of plant-based eating that is basically malnourishing the population is essentially the push for these fake meats, these soy products, these Beyond Burgers, the Impossible Burgers, these fake chicken products. Let me just be clear,
they're products that people recommend to people, or like a lot of vegans like those products. I like those products, but if I were trying to get someone to transition to becoming a vegan and they're struggling with finding different options, I would suggest those products as an alternative until they can hopefully move towards a whole foods plant-based diet. You know, I mean, it's about ethics. It's not about diet. It's about ethics. As long as you're eating a plant-based diet, then you're a vegan. And obviously, vegans don't go back. You know, like I would never go back because I'm not, you know, I mean, I would never go back unless there was something that convinced me to go back. You know, I do still hold an open mind to it, but you know, it's like even people like Gary Yourofsky, if you can prove to him and me, I hold the same position. If you can prove it that it's required, then we'll go back. You know, like we're just going by like the truth as far as it is. You know, see if I needed to eat cows to survive, then I'd go back to eating cows to survive. If I needed to.
Of everything that I know, I can guarantee that eating animal products is going to be 1,000,000 times better for you than eating these fake animal products.
I don't know about that because there's the cholesterol, there's the saturated fat, there's the amines, whatever, heterocyclic amines or whatever that come out of the food in the smoke when you're cooking them up. You know, there's obviously the saturated fat in these products too, but there's no cholesterol. You know, you're still less likely to have heart issues eating these things. You know, and you're probably even less likely to develop bowel cancer and, you know, other certain forms of cancers eating the plant-based option over the non-vegan option, the animal products.
And you will
probably, you know, I'm saying these things because I don't have the facts to back them up, but I'm just saying probably. And I mean, at least I know with certainty that what I'm saying is correct. Yeah, the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, over 100,000 credentialed practitioners are of the view, and in their twice peer-reviewed statement saying that a whole foods plant-based diet or a vegan diet or total vegetarian or vegan diet is adequate at all stages of the life cycle, including pregnancy, lactation, and in athletes. So the full spectrum, and that's backed up by over 100 different studies in a twice peer-reviewed statement. So, you know, what is better than that? You know, what is better than that, John, or anyone watching? Is there something that someone can provide that's better than that if there is, then I'll be more inclined to take that on board, as everyone should. Everyone who has or is presented with science that's more compelling, then that's what we should be following. Unless I'm wrong. Yeah, I don't think he believes in science either. But what's going on, Paulius? Thanks for tuning in.
We'll hear vegan doctors say that it's way better for you to eat these processed vegan foods, these mock meats, because at least they don't contain the saturated fat, at least they don't contain the cholesterol. But that is just their own biases and ideologies. I will not stand behind.
Not biases or ideologies, it's science. They're following the science.
Mock meats as a health food, and as
they're not even marketed as health foods. But we can say that they are healthier.
And demonize animal foods as horrible for your health, because I think they can be amazing for your health depending on the situation, dosage, how much you're eating, how you're eating it, how the animal product is raised, etc. So the idea behind pushing these chemically farmed monocropped products and monopolizing the farming system and centralizing the farming system is a huge issue, and I personally stand against that. I think the agenda of...
I agree, Avery. I agree. Give me plant-based meat over eating animals any day. And Paulius, mock meats is not health food. I haven't heard anyone saying that it is health food. Yeah, same. Yeah. They're not even marketed as health food. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think it is safe to say, like I said before, that they can be said as healthier. Like they are healthier than animal products, at least.
Of eliminating family farming and eliminating the rights of families to own their own animals and produce their own food has been under attack for a very long time. I mean, where I live in Norway, everyone in this village used to have sheep, cows, goats, and now there's probably just one family left that is operating because they can't keep up financially, because they've been squeezed out of the market because of these huge corporations which have a monopoly pretty much of the animal food production here, which has many different problems even for health because of how they feed, how they automize the systems, right? This farming...
Well, I think automating systems is beneficial. I think automating things to help more people thrive is beneficial for society. Having said that, also, I think it is better for us to be able to grow our own food and at least learn how to do that. It would be good if that was taught in schools, at least if that was taught to me growing up. I know that agriculture is taught in schools these days, including horticulture. Healthier, or at least more ethical than animal products, completely true. Big scale production equals cheaper. Yeah, exactly. You can't it's probably cheaper for me to go in and buy a kilo of dried chickpeas from the supermarket than it is to grow my own. At least it's more efficient, I suppose. I don't know, and they store for longer. You could have a bag of dried chickpeas in your pantry for years, almost. Just got to chuck some water on them, have them soak up, and then boil them up.
System is a system that is also using veganism as a way to promote its power and to encourage it to get bigger and stronger by using climate change and the ethical principles of veganism to convince you that eating mock meat is...
See, the climate change agenda is, I'd say, full of hypocrites. Extinction Rebellion and the Greens and all that jazz, they're all hypocrites because the majority of them still eat animal products. They're saying, let's go for gas, let's go for coal, let's go for oil. When animal agriculture is the elephant in the room, Don't forget the time investment. Growing your own food isn't a joke. Yeah, exactly. So you might see out there where I'm pointing I've got like some celery and some greens growing out there. It's taken a long time. Yeah. Some things died because I live in a townhouse and I converted the little area out there to, grow my food and stuff. But yeah. Yeah, like Extinction Rebellion and the climate change people, I'd say are mostly hypocrites. And when you point out that the single biggest thing that they can do to lessen their impact on the environment is to go vegan or adopt a whole foods plant-based diet or adopt a plant-based diet, then no, I'm not listening. Because it means that they have to change their lifestyle, and going out in the streets and protesting for something that they don't really believe in, but they just think that they're doing a good thing, just makes them feel better. So anything
is better for the environment, better for your health, better for the animals, etc. When in reality, it's not. And these companies are the same companies that own factory farms that are factory farming.
If the company owners are not directly involved, look at their investors and what other companies they also invest in. That's what he says.
Cows and pigs and chickens at rates unimaginable, causing endless amounts of suffering. So it's true that these companies and people that are in power are recommending these lab-grown meats, these processed foods. And
yeah, if I developed a lab-grown meat or a processed food or something like that, I would want as many people to invest in it as possible, because ultimately I still want to make a profit. I still want to earn a living. Paulius, a lot of people look for profit. Kindness can invest in vegan food as long as they can get money from it. Yeah, exactly. Hit the nail on the head. Exactly the same, And little do they know is that it benefits, because we want to consume those products, and if the more and more people consume those products, the more will come onto the market and more people will buy them.
Taking advantage of the vegan movement, the climate change movement, to promote their products as a solution.
I don't agree with taking advantage of the movement to promote a product. However, as long as that's what they're doing, if they're bringing an item to the market, a product to the market, then and they're not claiming that they're being ethical, then I'd be all right with that. But if they were claiming to be ethical, like Zambrero's is a burrito place down here in Australia, kind of like Subway, where you go down the line and you pick the things that you go into your burrito. And they say, let's end world hunger, whilst taking the food away from the starving children to feed it to animals, so then the animals can be fed to humans over here in Australia. We have a decision to buy or not to buy that product. So it's good to have more options. Totally agree. And see, it helps people who are vegan promote plant-based products to non-vegans as well. Here, try this Beyond Burger. It tastes really good. It's just like meat. And it means that you're not contributing to animals being stabbed in the neck for a food product that you don't need. Yeah, it is good to have more options, and supply and demand does help in that way.
But it doesn't mean that being vegan or veganism in general has to support those systems at all. I know many vegans who completely oppose anything that comes from monocropping, from chemical farming, and only support local farming.
I know a lot of vegans who have a really good argument for non-organic products too. I haven't quite listened to the arguments or whatever, but there apparently is a good argument. And Paulis, yep, totally agree. Easier for plant-based people to stick to plant-based diet. Yep.
Regenerative practices. So when it comes to depopulation and antinatalism, there are a lot of people who I've experienced are very anti having children, who believe having children is a burden on the planet and should be illegal. There are people who are openly anti-natalist, which is, anti biology, anti spirituality. It's anti many things in many levels, from some perspectives, because you are
Organic sometimes uses manure, bones, blood, etc. So they support animal agriculture in a way. Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
essentially saying that the only thing that we are at least biologically required to do on this planet, we should not do, and we're evil for doing. And so I respect people who believe that. It's okay. And
Well, we are biologically inclined to spread our seed as males. But yeah, society puts a contract in place that says, hey, we need consent from both parties.
Everyone's experience and all the pool of knowledge that they've kind of been fed has gotten them to reach those conclusions. So it's not a fault of the individual person. These companies that are promoting solutions to climate change, again, are used.
It would be better if he said these companies like KFC, like McDonald's, like Subway, providing examples rather than saying these companies like adding just mud to the pool of knowledge, not necessarily those companies, but just as an example. See, when I like to say things, right, I like to provide as many examples as possible, but saying things like these companies, and then if we were in a discussion, it's all right, which ones? What companies are you referring to? Just, I don't know, just something that I've noticed and I pick up a lot, even when I'm talking to people in the streets. I say, all right, well, what exactly about this makes you feel bad or makes you think that I'm a bully? Like, what exactly did I say? Oh, just look through your Facebook page. Okay, well, I did and I can't find anything. Can you point me to something specifically? Oh, shut up, Nick. Not an argument, really. Yeah. That happened to me last night, actually. Yeah.
Using the emotions of the people who are involved in these movements to make themselves more powerful. So if you can see the people who are leading the organizations and the green movements are also the same people who own the oil and gas industries.
You could be right there. I mean, I'm not going to lie and say you're probably wrong there, but I know at least that the Greens party here in Australia, they're sort of voting for climate change, save the climate, all that sort of stuff, and blah, blah, blah. But one of the senators, or I don't think he's a senator anymore, however, he owned a pig farm. And, he was exploiting pigs and causing issues with the environment by having a pig farm. I forget his name. I haven't said his name in a while. But yeah, the Greens. Yeah, I forget his name.
And who are making money not only in solar power and wind power and regenerative.
See, to be honest, I think solar and wind are a good short-term solution, but long-term, solar power or solar panels have like a lifespan of like 10, 15 years. And what happens to them after that? How are they made? What goes into making them? I think it's like coal and oil and things like that. So, okay, we'll put them on your roof for 10 to 15 years, take up the sun, and then they break. And then what happens to them? They just go into landfill somewhere? Do they get recycled? What happens? What about the wind turbines? Once they've had their, lives, gone through their lives, do they just stay there and become eyesores? Do they get broken down? What happens to the parts of the wind turbines? See, I don't think climate change is as big an issue as it's made, as the media or the politicians or whoever make it out to be. I think there is an agenda there myself, but I'm not going to put forward the intricacies on it. But look up a guy called Bjorn Lomborg, Bjorn Lomborg. He is a like an environmental scientist, at least I'm pretty sure, and he listed, like he got a bunch of people together and they got their heads together and they listed 100 things in the world that are issues that need to be addressed. And then they filtered it down to 10. Climate change wasn't even in the top 100. At least I'm pretty sure it's top 100. But climate change wasn't even in there. And this guy is one of the leading sort of environmental scientists that provide a lot of really good information in science at the moment. But his work is getting suppressed because it goes against the narrative. Bjorn Lomborg, right? And in the top 5, like the number 1 was increasing or helping people out of poverty. You know, because climate change is a first world thing to fight for because we've got the means to be able to do it. You know, you look at countries like Papua New Guinea, right? They're fueling their fires to cook their meals by using plastic bags. And it's like, well, you know, these guys don't even know where their next meal's coming from. So how the hell do you expect them to stop using these things that they have to use to survive? You know, places like, if a solution to fossil fuels and things like that is to create an energy source that's cheaper and less damaging on the environment. As soon as the smart people in the world can work out something or can invent something that's cheaper, then countries like India and China and America and South America and, you know, all these big superpowers will buy it and use it because it's cheaper. See, that's what needs to happen. The energy source needs to be made cheaper. And if we can make it cheaper and more environmentally friendly, then that will be the answer. That will be the solution. But having said that, I don't think wind and solar are the solution or is the answer. To be honest, that's just my opinion based on the things that I've looked at and I've spoken about or looked up. So, you know, this is why I go to the climate change rallies with a sign that says, if you're not vegan, you don't care about our environment. Oh, do I get a lot of looks after doing that?
Electricity and energy, they're also making, or not also, but they're making the vast majority of it in the traditional energy sector as well. So all in all, I believe that it's the lack of awareness of the agendas and of the manipulation of different industries, different organizations, different...
These could be just agendas that you're using to justify your lifestyle, maybe. I don't know.
Powerful people, billionaires, philanthropists, the lack of awareness of how they may impact the movement and how they may impact the way we view things and the way that we think. The biggest asset in the world for having power is attention and the media and information, right? If you can control people's attention, where they're listening in, where they're tuning into, where they're learning from, if you can control...
Let's just hope that no one's learning from you, mate.
The narrative, you control the population, you control the movements, you control the ideology. And so it's a lack of awareness about how these things are impacted and hijacked and manipulated. So the sooner we can move away from this black and white way of thinking, the sooner we can remove our attention from the mainstream media and trusting in different sources blindly without being very critical of it and taking in as many different sources of information as possible equally without devaluing something just because it's not in the mainstream media, or devaluing someone's opinion because they're not an expert or a doctor or whatever, or doesn't have the title that you believe is necessary to have an opinion. The sooner we can remove that conditioned way of thinking and start to look at things from more objective way, without judgment.
These are just things that I don't need to comment on, really. I don't even need to comment on any of this. I was just, had a free afternoon. Someone's popping by later. Yeah.
Taking in information equally and using our intuition and critical thinking skills to see how we can connect the dots, what makes sense, what is a more likely cause in scenarios. The sooner we can do that, the sooner we can realize how these entities are manipulating and taking advantage of different movements and our lives in general. I mean, we're going through the craziest time in history right now, where this is playing out in so many ways right in front of us, and not that many people are aware of it. So it's an interesting thing to do, an interesting exercise. Proceed with caution, because if you do that, life will never be the same, but it's worth it, in my opinion. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. And if you have any other ideas or topics that you want me to talk about, let me know in the comments below. Peace out.
Peace out of my ears, mate. Well, that's it. That's my first reaction to someone's video, because I just thought I'd check in, and because every now and again my housemate will say to me, "Oh, what's John Venus doing?" Yep, exactly, Paulius. Don't abuse animals, John. Asshole. Yeah, like I'm not in any position to I wouldn't say that I hold any credible pieces of paper that say that I'm in any position to assert any ways of thinking or any things onto people. But if people resonate with what I'm saying, yeah, Avery, yeah. I hope I never hear anything he says again. If people hear what I'm saying and then take it on board, cool, awesome. I'm just saying what I think, and if people take that on board, then feel free to, if people also disagree with what I'm saying, I'm happy to also discuss our differences as well, because I'm always trying to become a better person, right? And I think one of the only ways that I can do that is if I'm challenged on the things that I say and challenged on the things that I believe, and therefore I can become a better person. I always challenge people to discuss differences with me, because if we don't, then what I'm saying is just going to continue to be put out there until it's challenged. And this is why when I am challenged, all right, I spend some time, I think about what you've said to me, and I get the points, and I respond to each point by point with what I think. And then the conversation flows from there. And, I think if people don't answer questions, and I hold them accountable to that, and I say, well, no, you're not allowed to comment on any of my things anymore until you respond to what was posed to you last time. And, there's a few names that I can mention who are pretty much just like that. So, but yeah. So if you're still here, hit the like, subscribe, share, link to this video in the description. Link in the description. Got to get used to saying things like that. Like, comment, subscribe, share. YouTube.com/shitvegans. Twitch.tv/shitvegans. Everything, Instagram, Facebook. Shitvegans, all one word. And hit us up. Let's get this platform moving. Let's share it around with your friends. I want to interact with people as well. That's why I do it to Twitch and then export it to YouTube and then share it through YouTube. Yeah. Paulius, question. Why are you called Shit Vegans? Great question, and thanks for letting me end on that. Unless anyone else wants to add a question as well. So here in Adelaide in South Australia, there is... Yeah, exactly. That's one of the reasons why. It looks like an anti-vegan name. Yeah. One of the reasons why... Well, the main reason why I thought Shit Vegans is because there is an Instagram page here in Adelaide in South Australia called Shit Adelaide, where people go, they submit content of just weird things that happen in Adelaide. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to do the same, but I'm going to call it shit vegans. And, you know, because society believe that vegans are shit as a whole, as a general. And I thought, you know what? If someone who isn't a vegan sees that, they're probably going to be more likely to click on it. And, yeah, so that's it. And, you know, we had Tash Peterson on. We spoke to her, me and Holly. So every Monday night from 7 p.m. South Australian time, I think that's plus 9:30 Adelaide, we do the Shit Vegans show, weekly show. And because all the gear and equipment's at my house, I can just use it for whatever and whenever. And yeah, so we've got a schedule on Twitch every Monday. So it should be around tomorrow. And we've got a few things to talk about. So tomorrow we're going to be talking about grey areas. So Holly sent me one for oysters, owning pets, riding horses, and sharing graphic imagery. That's what we've got so far. You know, I hold the abolitionist position, so you probably know my position on all of that, but we will delve into it a bit more tomorrow. But yeah, does that answer your question there, Paulius? Can I call you Paul? Is Paul good? More tags like, yeah, I agree. I forgot to do that. Yeah, I know. It would have been all right if I did it. I just forgot, like, to add the hashtag vegan to my Twitch stream. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thanks, man. Thanks for referring to it as a great stream. Appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Paul. Cool, man. From now on, it's Paul. Because I refer to Faux Phoenix Gaming as Avery. Well, that's her name. And, you know, that's what's up. I've also got a Discord. So if you want to get on the Discord, hit it up. Let me bring the link in. I'll get the link, Discord, because the first 100 members get access to the, the OG members room. And if you're vegan, obviously I will verify you as being vegan, and then you get access to the vegan channel as well. So the link is invite people, copy, chat, Discord. All right, so there's the Discord there. So if you guys want to jump in there, have a suss, you're welcome to join. Obviously, I know you guys are vegan, and yeah, come on in. It's it runs like it's not very active, but I want to try and get more people in there, and we can start talking. Yeah, so but that is it for now. So what I'm going to do is bring in some beats. We got, again, AG Sterling on SoundCloud. AG_Sterling. My mate. On SoundCloud. Atta boy. Link in the description. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for stopping by. Peace, Paul. Peace, Avery. Thanks for sticking around. Everyone else who's here, thanks for sticking around. While you're here as well, welcome. There you go. Let me give you the vegan, and that's it. Cool. All right, welcome. Peace. See you, Avery. Enjoy your night. Shit vegans.